Okay, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
It's Some Dumb Guy, and this is SumDumWatch, episode number 35, celebrating 35 weeks of watching dumbly, because that's what we do here. This week's episode will cover the week of May 26th through June 1st, and of course, this is my weekly series where I chronicle what I've watched from my physical media home library and my theatrical attendings. Attendings? Is that a word? Attendances, viewings, attendings, yes. Okay, well, why not? Roll the ball, shall we? In a recent unboxing, I picked this title up and watched it for the first time since high school, when it was relatively new. This is my 4K with slipcover, the 35th anniversary of Wayne's World. Party Time. Excellent. And I'm sorry to report, I don't like this in a movie any more than I did 30 years ago. Or 32 years ago, or whatever, how many 30 some odd years ago it was that I watched it. I don't dislike it. It's just incredibly unengaging for me. I don't find it funny. I think maybe I laughed once. I don't get it. I didn't get it then. I don't get it now. And I'm kind of confused. I found myself watching this, and in the back of my mind, which just took 3 sittings to actually get all the way through, I just couldn't engage. But I found myself thinking I would rather be watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, strangely enough. Because it did slightly remind me of that, but I don't understand this film. I'm sorry. I know it's got a big fan base, and apologize, I cannot be amongst. That was my first hot take. Ready for another? From my own homemade 3-pack, I watched National Lampoon's European Vacation, the only of the trilogy so far to not get a 4K release for reasons unknown. Hot take: European Vacation is my favorite of the Vacation trilogy. Coincidentally, it was the first I saw in the franchise. I find this one the funniest. I appreciate it specifically because of these 3 titles. It's the only one that really, truly gives Audrey and Rusty as characters a personality. They're practically non-entities overall in the first and third film. They're just there for filler and occasional remarks, but they actually have characters and personalities and have screen time to utilize and develop in this film. Yeah, I don't have a problem with either any of these movies at all. I'd say probably Christmas Vacation is my second favorite, and the original being at the bottom of the list. I find it the least funny of the 3. But yeah, European Vacation for me, it wins. Sue me. Moving on, I finished up from my 4K Ultimate Knockout, I think that's right, Ultimate Knockout collection. I can't ever keep track of these collections of my 4K Rocky set. Finished this off with Rocky Balboa. Loved it as always. And then, because I have to do this, again from my homemade 2-pack, I went through Creed and Creed 2. And do a little bit of, how should we say, creative placement for this cover to work, because we know that neither Michael B. Jordan nor Sylvester Stallone are anywhere close to as tall as Dolph Lundgren, and I'm sorry to say I do not know this actor's name here, but yeah, they nowhere close to that face-to-face if they were standing in front of each other. In fact, we obviously see these two in this film stand that close to each other, and we're just going to bump that head down a little bit. That's fine. No, very big fan of the Rocky franchise, in which I include these two. It's really a shame they didn't make any more, but I think Creed 2 ends everything in a nice tied bow, and it's a good place to walk away from if you're going to walk away on a high note. So yeah, I remember being very, very, very hesitant when I first heard the announcement for Creed, which was, I think I heard 2013, I believe, maybe 14. Until I found out Stallone was going to be involved, I felt a little bit better about that because he was going to help with the development process, the characterizations and everything. So I went into it with a more open mind than I would have otherwise, and love him. Next up, in my first viewing since its theatrical release last year, a friend of mine wanted to see this and missed it in the theater, so we had a little sit-down viewing of Poor Things. Emma Stone and Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo. What a bizarre and hilarious film this one is. I am a very long-term fan of Emma Stone, whom she first called Emily, which I'm trying to change that over to. She had to go by Emma Stone when she first started acting because there was already somebody registered with the Screen Actors Guild by the name of Emily Stone. And because she was a nobody, she went with Emma. And now that she's made it into the A-list, she'd like to reclaim her name, which can't say I blame her there. But Emily Stone is an absolute delight in this film. It's a very brave, bold role for her in many ways. And yeah, just what a bizarre kind of reimagining of the Frankenstein tale in a sense. But I love it. Probably one I couldn't watch all too often, but it's got value. Next up, a film I haven't seen since my childhood, and it's from 1984. This is a Kino Lorber release, starring Mel Gibson, Sissy Spacek, and Scott Glenn. It is The River, from a recent unboxing of mine, I believe. I don't think I've had this one for too terribly long. I've not seen this since I was a kid. I couldn't specifically remember anything about this. So I never know if I had seen the whole thing. But as I was watching it, like the early parts of it, I had this like spark of memory pop up of a scene in which I watched a movie as a kid of a woman getting her arm caught in a piece of farm equipment. And she was trapped there, and she was underneath it, and she was bleeding. And couldn't get herself free, and had to enrage a bull that was on her farm to charge and bash the farm equipment enough to free her. Lo and behold, it just so happened to be this movie. It's a pretty solid, decent family tale of facing and overcoming adversity and corruption and the trials and tribulations of a community both coming together and falling apart simultaneously, facing the elements and bad people combined. Next up, another Kino Lorber purchase, largely based on a true story, but you know how that goes. This is an older one from 1964. Takes place off the coast of Southern California, although filmed in Northern California's coast. This is the Island of the Blue Dolphins, based on the true story of a Native American young lady who is left behind when her people, her tribe, leaves the island for the mainland, and her struggle to survive there for many years alone before rejoining her people, and then consequently dying 7 weeks later of illness that she contracted from the European settlers. Whew. Yeah, imagine being stranded on an island. I think it's for like 18 years, and you could actually see the mainland from the island you're stranded on. Makes you wonder just how much effort it would have taken to either utilize an existing or to build a canoe to make the trip yourself. Did it ultimately matter? Most finally, when she went, it just killed her. So the true life tale has a sad ending. This one here just basically ends with the quote-unquote rescue. It doesn't say nothing of what happened afterwards. I read a review on, I think it was the Internet Movie Database regarding the film, and the reviewer made a very apt comment that the story of this native gal in this film is incredibly Disneyfied, or rodent-housed, as I would probably call it. You know, I think she's trapped there for like 18 years, starting when she was like 12. They cast a gal in her early 20s to play the role. It's an unspecified time how long she's there, but we see one puppy grow into adulthood, a couple of baby birds grow into adulthood. So there is a time frame there. We just don't know how long, but at the same time, she doesn't appear to age. And the clothing that she wears is the same throughout. You do see some wear on it, but it's never replaced. It never completely falls apart. So you're like, okay, could it have been that long? But anyway, lastly, as we continue on, season 9 of Seinfeld, starting and working through disc 2 now. Only one episode in. I only squeezed one episode in this week. A lot more movie watching, and as I've said in previous episodes of this show, I am somewhat procrastinating in finishing it because I know what's coming. I have to choose another show to watch to replace it, to put into my rotation, and none of you are helping at all. Shame on you, bad viewers. Bad. Ooh, I shouldn't say that too loud. Sugar. This is my little lump of sugar here into the bag. She knows that word. And if I'm not careful, she'll take it personally. So, anyway, nobody's thrown out any suggestions or recommendations for me to watch next, so I really didn't want to put any thought into it until I absolutely have to, but since I'm not getting any recommendations, I'm going to have to come up with something. Theatrical viewings for the week. We have ×2. One of my local theaters, I hope temporarily, switched over these stupid flimsy receipts or stubs. I can't believe this. I went and saw Friendship Wednesday, 10:15 a.m. I think there were 3 of us in attendance for this one. Now, granted, it's already been out for over a week by the time I saw it, and it's a low under the radar film, as many I go to see wiggles. Many of the films I go see, as any of you that watch my reviews or see me mention them on SumDumWatch know, I don't go in for the big blockbuster stuff as often as majority do, especially YouTube reviewers. Friendship was not a complete waste of time. It wasn't great. It certainly wasn't the comedy that it was cracked up to be. The movie poster has a quote from GQ saying that it was one of the funniest movies the reviewer had ever seen in his life. I laughed once, I think I had a couple of light chuckles here and there, maybe. But no, I could watch Sugar for 10 minutes and have a better time, have more fun than I had in that movie. And it was basically just Michael Scott, the movie. For you Office fans, you'll understand the reference. Without the entertainment value of The Office, mind you. Second theatrical viewing, Thursday at 2 p.m. This had a decent turnout. I was happy to see. This is Karate Kid Legends. Or is it The Karate Kid Legends? It just says Karate Kid Legends. So, yeah. Anyway, this is a new Karate Kid sequel that decides it wants to now bring the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith film into the fold, into the universe, and say they coexist, although Jackie Chan's character is the only connective tissue between the two franchises at that point. So it's kind of moot. It doesn't even matter, because without that film, this one still exists without any connective tissue whatsoever. It's just, okay, we're going to import this character over who may as well never have existed in anything else, because there is absolutely nothing I'm aware of from that film that is brought over besides this character. And past events that are referenced through him have nothing to do with that film either. It's almost like there's another film out there that's missing. There's another film out there that's missing that tells a whole other story of other students of his. Silly girl, you want to say hi to people? Oh, do you want to say hi to you, I bet? Sugar's one of the favorites at this channel, huh? No, you're not really, but I just want to tell you that because you're cute. Even nobody says anything. Oh, you still got that little scab there. We're going to have to work on that, huh? Do you scratch yourself, my little girl? You have a little sugar face. Here you go. Be cute. Anyway, the antagonist was weak and thin. There were too many branches on the tree as far as subplots go. And the movie was only about an hour and a half long. And Ralph Macchio as Daniel was really underplayed, underutilized, and his presence was almost pointless. I heard an observation today that somebody said that maybe this might have been a script for a completely unrelated film at some point. Someone decided to repurpose and incorporate it into the Karate Kid world. Maybe it would make sense, but 99% of the cast were charming and charismatic, and I had fun with it. So, there was that. Ooh, we're 19 minutes in. We're done. Thank you for watching. What'd you think of what I watched this week? Any comments? Wordbox, what have you watched this past week? Wordbox, say hi to Sugar right here. Wordbox. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Alan.